And so I met them, and they agreed to help build the brand with me, and so we built it. And the original name actually came from Corvain. When we were trying to build this company, we didn't know what name we wanted to build, and we wanted it to be impactful. And Corvain suggested that we should call it 40 tons, and that was because the newspaper article read California man sentenced to life in prison for 40 tons of weed. And we didn't know if it was going to be a good name or not. And we were like, man, we don't want to spit on the face of the law. And like, it's not like we're trying to say that we're trying to commit crime. No, we're just trying to turn a negative into a positive. There's thousands of people still locked up for something that, many people are now profiting off of and, conducting legal business over. And so we just want to have our share of it. And so that's where the name came from. And then we just started, working it. And then we hit the winning lottery ticket when, former President Donald Trump released Corvain on his last day of office. And so we just been hitting the ground running ever since.
Yeah, yeah. Um, how much weed is 40 tons? Like, is that like one container, two containers? That like how much weed is?
It's 80,000 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So there was never even, an ounce of weed found. It was just all old stuff from what had happened years prior and what different people said did this, and then they added it all up, and bank transactions, and they added it all up over multiple people over multiple years. And because Corvain went to trial, they put it all on him.
Mm.
So that's how they got to that number. But the name, you know what I mean, signifies that, of course. Um, there's still 40,000 prisoners still locked up at the time over cannabis. 40 acres and a mule is a big number in the Black community. So the number 40 has a very powerful number within the Black community. And, we're Black owned, we're system impacted owned, we're justice impacted, right? So the number 40 was really important. And instead of it being FORTY, we wanted it to be a number, because if you can add numbers to your branding when it should be letters, it's like something different. You know what I mean? Kind of like Motel 6. It's this number 6 as opposed to it saying SIX, right? So different things like that, in terms of branding and graphics. The chains represent, imprisonment. C.O. Corvain, Cooper, right? The C looking backwards is his life sentence. The C looking forward is, um, freedom. You know what I mean? So there's just a lot of meaning to the to 40 tons, and we wanted to be different, and we wanted our branding to stand out when you compared it to other brands out there.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, you touched on like Clubhouse because I remember we that's around the time we met. We met through EYL and we
Yeah.
started like our investment group. Um, but why was like Clubhouse so popping at that time?
Well, I think Clubhouse was popping because the world was indoors. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? When the pandemic hit and people weren't going out, there was a pocket of time where um, Clubhouse capitalized. And what it did was it gave you human connection through voice, right? And so there was nothing really like it at the time. And so it just spread like wildfire.
Right.
And at the time, you were able to get to the leaders of the world. At the time you could speak to the Rashads and Bilals of EYL, excuse me, the Rashads and Troys of EYL. You could speak to the Gary V's. You could get on with the celebrities. You could get on with, CEOs of companies. At that time, nobody was out. So everyone was on Clubhouse. So if you capitalized on that, you were able to get to people that you never would be able to get to ever, because those people would just naturally be busy. But at that time of the pandemic, when everyone was stuck inside, it was like Clubhouse was the place to be. And so if you leverage that platform at that very specific time, you you elevated. And I
Yeah.
did. I used it like crazy. I was on that thing 7, 8 hours a day, you know what I mean, for months. And L'Oreal used to get upset with me, but I was like, no, no, like we got to do this. And because I did that, like I would probably credit, no bullshit, I would probably credit Clubhouse on why 40 Tons is a nationally recognized company.
Hmm.
Like single-handedly, Clubhouse did that for us because I was on it every single day for 8 hours a day. I got to meet people from all over the world and all over the country and build relationships with these people that I normally never would have been able to build.
Yeah. Like,
You, even you guys, you know what I'm saying? Like I never
yeah.
would have met you guys without being on Clubhouse. So it was like that was a time that was just it was a very short period of time that if you leveraged it, you won.
Right. Yeah. I remember when Clubhouse came pop, I was on it. I was on it a lot.
Hmm.
Um, but I remember like all, all of a sudden became watered down. But this is probably towards the end of the pandemic. Well, actually, no, probably the middle of the pandemic it started getting more watered down. Um, you would have people claiming to be experts, but that's kind of like anywhere. But yeah, I remember me and you would talk, and you would just be like, "Yo, I met so and so, I met so and so," and I'm like, how are you meeting all these people? Like to me, that was like really crazy.
Yeah, exactly. It was all from Clubhouse, you know. It was all from Clubhouse. It all started from Clubhouse. So, I was thankful that I got to be a part of that era at that time and leverage it.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm assuming that wasn't your first time really leveraging social media.
No, I mean, I've used social media in the past, but that was it was different because you could speak to people. It was like
Hmm.
a direct two-way conversation between people. Whereas before, social media is a one-way thing. You make a post, someone comments, back and
Right.
forth. But this was, um, you know, the first time that a platform put everybody together at one time, and it was it was pockets. So like if you were in the cannabis industry, then you had the cannabis groups. If you were in entertainment, you had the entertainment groups. Tech had tech groups. So like it was an area where it was everything got filtered to your um, industry.
Right. Right. Yeah, I used to spend a lot of time in the crypto groups. Um,
Hmm.
I avoided the relationship groups because it's like it's always weird to me to hear other people talk about give relationship advice and then you look at them and they're single. It's like, you
It
know,
makes no sense. Yeah, I mean
it's
everyone's
like,
an expert, right? Everyone's an
yeah,
expert.
yeah, yeah,
You know how it is.
yeah. So oh, this is one thing I wanted to ask too. So you talked about what was his name again? He's also the co-founder.
Corvain.
Cobain, yeah, Cobain. So why is it that when people decide to take their case to trial, why is it that they end up getting more time if they're found guilty?
What's that noise? Is that your side?
Yeah, it's an alarm.
Oh, okay.
Shit,
Um,
annoying.
it's an unfortunate thing in the justice system that if you don't uh take a deal or you don't not go to trial that you get punished more. So for example, and this is just arbitrary, a certain crime carries a certain uh amount of time that it comes with, right? So let's say you get a crime that is that you can be given anywhere from 5 to 10 years, let's just say. um if you take a deal, you can get the 5 years. But if you go to trial and you lose trial, not only will you get the 10 years, but sometimes they'll punish you and they'll double it up, right? And you'll get 20 for that or whatever, right? It's just the way that it is.